Hey, I had some extra money on PayPal, so I went ahead and got Skullgirls for Vita. Yeah, it's actually a really good port. They did have to make some compromises, but it works pretty well. I mean, I guess it has online and everything. I haven't tested the online yet, but the main thing about this port is that it's got pretty long load times. So, if you're on like the bus or something, or you're, you're switching train stops or whatever, you're probably not going to want to play this game unless you're like in training mode or something, because it can take a pretty significant time to load. So I'm going to show how long it takes to get into the game, just from the home menu. And give you a little taste of how things work. Now, I've said this before with the other port review series games that I've done, like that are, Twitch shooters and twin stick shooters and stuff like that, and fighting games like, the D-pad and the buttons on the Vita are really great, and they really work well for fighting games and stuff like that. So it doesn't take too long to get to the game itself, but the loading can take a while. I was playing this at the laundromat, trying out the new characters. It's like pretty awesome to have a game of this quality on the Vita you can play when you're away from home. So what determines how long it loads is dependent on how many unique characters you have. If you play a 3-on-3 match and they're all unique characters, it's going to take longer. If you do a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-2 and they're unique characters, then it won't take as long. So I'm going to go ahead and show the worst it can possibly be.
Let's go, Samson!
Hell yeah! Misfortune! Parasol! Squiggly!
Well, actually, I forgot to put the other extra characters on, but you get the gist of it. It takes quite a while to load. But once you're in, everything works fine. They did have to kind of compromise the graphics a little bit, but the important part is that it runs well and it controls well, and that's pretty much what they nailed with this. Now, as you can see, it's taking a pretty long time, even with just 4 unique characters versus 6. Now, once you're in, the game looks great, and it's not as vibrant as like the console versions. They did have to make some compromises. I think they had to like take out the lighting engine or something like that. I don't know much about it. One of the people who works at Lab Zero was talking about it on the NeoGAF forums earlier today. The controls are pretty standard. If you ever played like old school PS1 or PS2 fighting games on pad, it's very similar. The face buttons are your jabs and strongs and stuff like that. Your fierce and roundhouse are on the right triggers. You can also use the right analog stick for assists, and you also have 2 macro sections on the right side of the screen, the top corner and the bottom corner. You can use those for your assists, which is actually pretty nice. I found it to be more useful than using the right analog stick because you don't have to move your thumb as far. So you can do stuff like this. I'm not really good at this game, so I can't like show it off too much, but pretty easy to get the assist out just about as fast as you would on the stick. It's a little slower, but I don't know, it probably just takes some getting used to. So I'm going to go ahead and back out and show the absolute longest it can take to load. They were pretty transparent about this on their official YouTube channel, but I don't think too many people watched that video, so I wanted to try and spread the word a little bit. So I'm going to go with 3 completely unique characters here, so you can see just how bad it can possibly get.
Cerebella! Painwheel! Eliza!
Let's dance, darling.
One kind of minor downside to this, at least if you run your Vita like I do, I run my Vita in a case. So in the case, I don't really have easy access to the trigger buttons, and most of the fighting games on Vita don't really use the trigger buttons that much. And if they do, it's for stuff like assists, like Marvel 3 and BlazBlue are pretty good examples. All the attack buttons are on the face buttons, and the triggers are just kind of shortcuts or assists in the case of Marvel. So I have to take the game out of the case to play this, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, that's about the longest it can possibly take to load. That's with 6 completely unique characters. I mean, it's kind of a long time, but like I said, the load times are kind of a disadvantage because it's not as pick up and play as a lot of the other Vita games are. You can can wait for it to load and then put it in sleep mode and then turn it back on whenever you're done what you need to be doing. Like, you know, if you're transferring on the bus or something, or your break is over at work or whatever, you can get right back into the game. Whereas with this, you definitely don't want to be starting a match like before you need to turn it off, because you're going to be waiting a while. But yeah, that's pretty much the port. The D-pad is really great. I've been doing the trial mode. I was doing it a lot while I was waiting for my clothes to dry. It's actually pretty responsive. This version of the game has pretty much all the DLC, so you get all the characters. They have challenges and trials, so you can kind of ease your way into learning the new characters. I have this game on PC, but I haven't really played it that much, so it's all kind of new to me. Anyway, that's another Vita port review series. If you bought the game on PS4 already, then you get this version for free. If not, it's $25. I consider it to be worth it. I mean, I'm not really going to be playing this game hardcore or anything, but it's awesome to have on the go. So I'll see you guys in the next video. If you're wondering what's going on with the computer, they called me today and we kind of talked about arranging it, but he didn't mention if I would be able to pay in installments or not. So I guess they got really overbooked, and he didn't call me back today. So hopefully when I wake up in the morning, he'll get back to me. Hopefully I'll be able to pay in installments. If not, I'm going to have to come up with something else. So I guess my links are in the description, but I know pretty much how much it's going to be. They told me it'll be about $100 to get everything fixed and get the motherboard replaced and everything, and then about $60 for the motherboard itself. So I'm looking at about $160, $165 to get all this done, and I'm not going to be able to do that with my other expenses and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I will talk to my family too, but if you help me out and you want something done in return, you know, you want a video like this or something else that I have access to, you can go ahead and let me know. But I don't know what's wrong with the computer. It seems to only be crashing when I like watch videos on Twitch, when I watch streams on Twitch, and I don't know what could be causing that. So if you do have a request from me, just be mindful that it might take me a long time to get to it, depending on how overbooked they are. I mean, they couldn't even get back to me today, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. But they do still have access to my PS4 and this, so I should be okay. Anyway, see you guys later. Peace.